Harmony Apartments. It seemed like a good place to live. Quiet, affordable, normal, but something lurked beneath the surface. Something dark and sinister. My story begins on an ordinary night that would soon transform into a terrifying ordeal, an experience that would change my life forever. I had just moved in, hoping for a fresh start. The neighbors seemed friendly enough, and the rent was within my budget. Everything appeared perfect on the outside. But as days turned into nights, I began to notice strange occurrences. Unexplained noises, shadows that seemed to move on their own, and a chilling presence that made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. It was as if the building itself was alive, watching, waiting. Little did I know the true horror was yet to come. It started subtly, a gentle tapping sound coming from the walls. At first I dismissed it as old plumbing, but the tapping persisted, growing louder, more insistent. It seemed to follow me from room to room. An unsettling feeling crept over me. Something wasn't right. The tapping grew into loud banging. Then, the whispers started. Soft, disembodied voices, just on the edge of hearing. I would strain to make out the words, but they remained frustratingly unclear. Fear tightened its grip. I was living in a nightmare. One night, I saw it. A shadow, darker than the night itself, moving with an eerie fluidity. It was as if it had a life of its own, slipping through the moonlit room like a whisper in the dark. A fleeting shadow darted across my living room wall. It moved so quickly, I almost doubted my own eyes. But the chill that ran down my spine told me it was real. It was unnatural, too fast to be a trick of the light. The way it moved defied all logic, as if it was something not of this world. Panic welled up inside me. I wasn't alone. The feeling of being watched was overwhelming, and I could sense a presence lurking in the shadows. Other tenants whispered about similar experiences. They spoke in hushed tones, afraid that speaking too loudly might attract the attention of whatever was haunting us. Then, people started to disappear, vanished without a trace, their apartments left untouched, as if they had simply stepped out for a moment and never returned. The atmosphere in the building was thick with fear and suspicion. Every creak, every flicker of the lights sent waves of dread through the remaining tenants. We were living in a nightmare, unsure of who or what would be next. Were these events the work of some malevolent entity? The shadows that moved on their own, the whispers that seemed to come from nowhere, and the cold chills that ran down our spines? Or was it mass hysteria, fueled by fear and the power of suggestion? The collective anxiety of the residents, the stories that spread like wildfire, and the palpable tension in the air. The truth remains elusive. I eventually escaped the clutches of Harmony Apartments. The nights spent in terror, the days filled with dread, and the constant feeling of being watched. But the experience left an indelible mark. The sleepless nights, the haunting memories, and the lingering fear that something might still be following me. To this day, I can still hear the tapping, the whispers, the faint sounds that echo in my mind, the reminders of a time I wish I could forget. The haunting of Apartment 13 continues to haunt me. The memories of that place, the eerie occurrences and the unanswered questions that still linger.